Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Quick look here at WIF, dog WIF hat. We're going to see what's going on. I get a lot of requests for this one. Mainly a few of my web developers, actually. Connor, thank you so much for the request. Greatly appreciate it if you're watching. I appreciate what you do for our website and just generally our community. Speaking of community, we have a phenomenal group over here in our Discord. Check that out. Our Premium Plus and Premium members are finding some really good benefit. We took some nice longs here from Injective, 76%, 82% from AVAX in 4 days, and of course Fetch.ai short at 34%. Even a longer trade, essentially 6 months for 260%. I don't mind waiting that long for that. Either way, that is a possibility here on our cryptocash.tech website. If you're curious, link down below. I do teach people how to trade. I've got a university as well. What we want to look at here, of course, is some liquidation levels and kind of see what's going on here first. So, liquidation for dog WIF hat. This is the last 7 days worth of the look back. We can see there's a heavy amount of longs here at about the 176 to 166 mark. Okay, so heavy amount there. We can see this upper level liquidity getting swept right now as we speak at 269 to 270. So does this imply the price is going to come down and swipe all those longs? No, it just implies that there's probably a decent amount of support at that range. People feel comfortable taking longs there, and we're going to check that out on the charts and understand what that means. It does also imply that we could very well see the price pull back to some levels there, depending on how things work out. So if you haven't noticed already, if you're not into this thing, we have finished our ABC pattern. So we're likely starting a new 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it could look like something like this here. The price is coming up here. We're at our 3 right now, and our 4 is going to be somewhere higher than the most recent low, or sorry, the most recent high rather. And then of course it could continue upwards like this. This is just an example of what we could see here. So we're probably right here looking for our 3. Potentially pulling back to our 4 and then coming up to our next 5 there. So Elliott Wave is pretty awesome. I definitely think you might want to learn more about that if you want. Feel free to check out some of my older videos, but generally speaking, coin's looking very bullish. There's no other way around it. So let's look at some standard indicators to work our way down. There's not enough data here for anything over the 50-day SMA, but we're above all moving averages. That's no surprise. Really just implying we're truly bullish here. We want to look at a few other things here. Now, money flow index is starting to pull back a little bit. This isn't like a sign of weakness. It just shows that the price action being overinflated as it is, there is potential for a pullback. Now, stochastic's trying to swing up here, and RSI is extremely high. So if you have high RSI and low MFI, that's usually a recipe for potential contraction, or the price action might pull back to some of those lower levels. So I would say that we do have potential for pullback here on the daily, but once more, this is a very slow moving average or indicator. It's not going to really give us the true definition of what we're looking at. Okay, so in essence here, we're still mostly bullish minus just one small factor. But if you're looking at money flow index, you want to look on the 4-hour time frame. This is really the more telling one, because again, it'll give you a little bit more accurate representation. We can see RSI and money flow index moving concurrent with one another. This implies good strength in the coin. Okay, so again, try not to misread larger time frames. Daily time frames can be helpful in overall trends, but I think it's sometimes a little unilateral there. Having said that, we can see a stochastic swing here to the downside potentially. We're hitting that plateau. We can see MACD strong and converging very well. And with us getting closer to 70 in the RSI, it does imply we're coming up to somewhat of a resistance level. And like, again, a lot of times the RSI gets closer to 70, you'll see a rejection at that price point because it's viewed as overbought. But a lot of times you break through that level, then it becomes extra special and the price just continues to run. So we're in a situation right now where we're kind of in a potential transition, but the truth here is at the end of the day, we got a tremendous amount of volume at $2.10. That's kind of like the volume support, if you will. And we can also see that we're above all moving averages. So there's absolutely zero reasons to consider a short right now. And I know it seems crazy. Some people are like, wait, why not? Why shouldn't I short? It's overextended. I'm gonna sell the top. Well, we don't know how much further this could go, folks. We're at a 6 on TD sequential, which implies, and again, you can see it does hit its 9s and return fire, right? So it came down to a 9, turned around. That's 36 hours of continuation on the downside more recently. We are now roughly 24 to 36 hours of continuation to the upside. Okay, so we're at this point right now where we hit that 24-hour mark. We've been moving up for 1 day straight. We have probably another half a day's worth of continuation left in the tank. Okay, so it does imply, if we look at our fib levels here, that 1.618 is a very likely retracement level. I would say $2.92 would be a good profit target for us. Maybe even just a little bit lower, 290 even. Something just below that fib level. You never want to make it exact. Round numbers are typically not ideal, so 291.5, right? Whatever you want to do, but generally speaking, the price should continue higher from here. If it does pull back, the common pivot point is the most recent high. Okay, so this guy right here, this most recent high at about 250, is going to be a likely bouncing point for this coin. Okay, so again, I'm sure you're probably wondering or scratching your head, wait, why doesn't he draw his fib levels up any higher? Well, why is it at this current level and not the, why is it at the previous level versus the current? The truth is, folks, you don't update fibs until they fully close, and today's candlestick hasn't closed yet. So it's a little premature to adjust it while it's still moving. That's why these are substantial levels here. 1.272, this $2.68 mark, could prove as the initial resistance, right? And we could actually see our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 happening when the price does one of these, right? That's essentially what we're looking for. But what I would recommend here is if the price does pull back, an entry at about 250 makes most sense, okay? And if the price continues to run, a selling point closer to the 290 would also make sense. Now, do you short from 290 to 250? No, you do not. This coin has proven to be very substantial and sticking around very strong. And pullbacks, albeit can be substantial. It's a bullish market, folks. Do you really want to find a tight margin within a short position, or are you going to try to find a much more broader, easier, set it and forget it for long? Just makes more sense to do that. So that's what we're looking at there, folks. All right, so that's kind of where we're at here. All good here stuff. Also, make sure if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, recommend using Bitunix, no KYC VPN required exchange. We have an open enrollment for this current event here, such as starting in March 28th. $10,000 prize pool split among whomever registers. So far we got 9 people registered. Use the link down below to register. You'll be good to go. Make sure you check that out. Highly recommend that. WIF is actually adding, or I think it might have been added to the exchange here recently, if I'm not mistaken. I know it's on the roster for trading on Bitunix. Phenomenal exchange. Highly recommend them. We use them as a community. We love them. So thank you, Bitunix, and thank you too for liking the video, subscribing, and following. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day.